Thank you. Next presentation is on horticulture and agri-food business development by Professor Erkan.
I would like to thank ADB for inviting me to talk in this presentation. I think maybe we all knew that Turkey is the only country having the land between Europe and Asia. And then Turkey also has 4 different climates: winter, spring, autumn, and summer. For that reason, we have different diversity of the foods. And then in terms of the sufficient country, and then we are the first largest country in terms of the agricultural economy, and then the second largest agricultural economy among the OECD countries, and the 9th largest country in the world in terms of the agricultural economy as well. These are some indicators in agricultural sectors: 25 million hectares, and then 3 million people in agriculture, and then 60 million USD, the total agricultural trade, and the average enterprise size is 6 hectares. And then the other facts in terms of the Turkey: the females labor in agriculture is the 3rd largest in the world. And then also we produce over 50 million tons of fruits and vegetables. This is nearly 3% of the total fruit and vegetables percentage. And then we have also the 1st largest producers of the fruits, vegetables, and the 7th largest producers with fruit. For that reason, we have many different opportunities for different, for example, tomato, 12 million tons, and the total is 32 millions. In terms of the fruits, grapes is number 1, following the apples, and the total is 21 million tons as well. And then in terms of the export, we have the top exporter of the hazelnut, dried raisin, dried apricot, fig, dried fig, and chickpea. One of the top exporter of cherry, lemon, lentil, tobacco, olive oil, and chestnut, and one of the top exporter of the pepper, olive, pistachio, tomato, cucumber, peach, and grape. And for example, the fresh top 5 countries, Turkey is relatively very high from the other country. The top rising, number 1 as well. And the dried apricot, nearly 70% of the total dried apricots produced from Turkey. And the same for fig production as well. These are for the cherry orchard, relatively with good quality for the European markets. These are the pomegranate, relatively very high quality in terms of the color and the seeds as well. And these are the figs in terms of the fresh and the dried figs as well. And these are also the high quality apricots for dried and the fresh consumption as well. Now I will talk about something about the greenhouses. Antalya at the Mediterranean coast, number 1 vegetable growing center in the world, and nearly 50% of the total greenhouses located in this area. And then these are the picture from the top of the view. Then Kumluca is the main vegetable production. Nearly 50% of the total vegetable come from this one. Also, one of the main orange production center in this region. And then we also produce banana even in the top of the hills. You will see later we turn this banana production in the greenhouses. And then how we improved from the last to the beginning. For example, nearly 40 years ago, the farmers was using this kind of heating system. But now, after 20s, now we have the new heating systems. And then, as I showed you before, we produce banana in open field in some microclimates. But now we switch this open field production to the greenhouse because of the higher quality, and we use the geothermal energy under the greenhouse to banana production as well in the Turkey. And then we have many different places for the geothermal energy. These are one of the sources to get more information, and then how to improve the fruits and vegetable sector and the other processing sector as well by the heating. And then because if we heat the greenhouses, then the quality can improve. For that reason, the heating system must be necessary for improving the quality as well. I would like to talk something about also the cold storage facility. And we have nearly 3 million tons of the cold storage because very important for exporting and for the cold chain management, because for competing in Europe and the other parts of the world, you need some cold storage facility and then also the cold chain management facility. But the other advantage of Turkey, we have nearly 500 tons of the storage underground without any cooling system. This is especially, we can store in this storage lemon, potato, and onion. That means the temperature, yearly temperature is 10 degrees Celsius in this storage. There is no need any cooling system underground. And then cherry is one of our #1 export crops. For that reason, we have the new technology for packaging and then also to reach the European markets and the other parts of the world by using these packing house facilities. And then we have also the new infrastructure for the sorting line and the packaging for the apples and the other fruits and vegetables as well. And then if we look at what we have the advantage, we have having a traditional agricultural production culture, the existence and the diversity of agricultural raw materials, Turkey's geographical position and historical identity, a strategic point for the presence and technical compliance with the EU and the food legislation. But we have some weakness as well, for example, branding, lack of inspection and the control, and adequate share of R&D and adequacy of the infrastructure, the intensity of the small and medium-sized enterprises and the family business in the sector, insufficiency in the producers' access to the market, and high external dependency, especially in the use of agricultural inputs. And then also we have some opportunities as well for the marketing issues, high export potential in terms of the location. We are very close to Europe and the other part, especially to Russia. Russia is #1 export destination. Nearly 25 to 30% of export directly goes to Russia. For that reason, this is a good opportunity. Also, we have some very traditional products, as I told you before, and then, but the energy cost is very high, and then also some instability in the Middle East. Most of the time we have some troubles. This makes some disadvantage for us. And then also the increased input cost with the exchange rate fluctuation. And finally, I would like to say something about how did we manage and then how did we achieve this success. I think the most important things, the governmental support. And then the Turkey government supported nearly 50% of the total credit for the growers. If they wanted to build a greenhouses or build a cold chain management, 50% loan get from the governments. And then also Turkey supported the producers who wanted to apply good agricultural practices and the organic farming. This is also a good opportunity for the growers. And then the other financial supported for the renovation of the cold storage, old cold storage units to change the new CS storage or even the dynamic control atmosphere storage. This makes advantage for the growers. Also, most of the company now use the cold chain management because they knew that without cold chain management, they not compete with the other markets. For that reason, cold chain is the priority for the export company. Also, use of knowledge and technology for the enterprises and for the growers and then for the other exporters as well. Also, we have a good relation between the university, private sector, and the government institution. For that reason, every year we are educated or teaching the grower how they get the new technology. Sometimes we took the growers, especially the growers, to the other country to learn or to touch the new technology. 50% of this cost coming from directly to the governments, and then 50% directly for the growers. For that reason, all this kind of help to improve the Turkish horticulture and the agribusiness sector. Thank you for your attention.